everybody, and welcome to Reviews from Hell. I am your host, AJ, and as always, I am joined by my co-host, Steve Wadling. And tonight, we're going to be doing something a little bit different. As you can see, we have a third guest with us tonight, and his name is Ian Webb, and we are going to be doing a reaction to, well, not a reaction, but a prediction, to Rob Zombies The Munsters movie coming out on Netflix later this fall in September. So let's go ahead and bring up the trailer.
All right.
Well, now what?
Whoops.
That's the teaser.
Right. That's kind of what you say after that. Like, I may have enjoyed this more if they just stuck with the whole black and white aspect of it.
Somebody re-released the big trailer in black and white, and a lot of people thought it played better.
Yeah. And so here's the thing. I'm a big Rob Zombie fan, and I'm even going to be interviewing his brother next week for Algoria, his movie that he's doing. So, I mean, I love Rob Zombie's film, but when I saw this trailer, it just looked like something made for the Asylum. I mean, it didn't fit well with the teaser.
We're gonna watch the right one first, right? I want to hold my thoughts. We're gonna do that, right? I want him to hold my thoughts because I'm coming down hard on another side of this. But I'll tell you up front, I don't think it in any way looks bad. I think that everything people are complaining about it was entirely just because people were like, "What the fuck?" because they weren't expecting to see something that was shot like like the Munsters, that would feel like an episode of the Munsters. Look cheap. So I think a lot of it was just misconceptions, and also I just. But anyway, we're going. Let's watch it. I don't want to start rambling and then But yeah.
Yeah, so that was totally my fault. I uploaded the wrong trailer.
You have the teaser, that's right.
Yeah.
I was thinking the same thing though when they were coming out in black and white. I was like, the thing that worries me the most is the Technicolor look, quote unquote. But anyway,
yeah, because their official trailer just came out yesterday or today.
And there's a new, because they announced the Blu-rays coming out in September before Netflix earlier today, and the bump with that it's kind of a new trailer spot. And everybody, I saw Chris Alexander, some other people in the horror whatever were saying that they thought that looked much better than the trailer looked. Was the little Blu-ray spot that they put out today even. So
I did not see that.
It just came out a couple hours ago. It came out sometime between me leaving work at 5 and now. So it's just a few hours ago is when I saw it.
Wow.
Because I didn't know, because the announcement was, hey, by the way, they said Netflix, and it's going to come to Netflix, but it's going to be on Blu-ray on 9/27, and that's the release date. So it's hitting Blu-ray oddly before its Netflix premiere, which is odd. I don't think Netflix has done that yet. I'd have to look into it, but.
They haven't released much of their stuff on DVD unless it's like Stranger Things with the retro VHS
I know.
box set. That's pretty much it, I think.
I'm guessing it would be a Rob Zombie because he said he made also another part of this. This is just all snowballed, and some of the rollout was probably his fault. The reception is ridiculous, but it's I think a lot of it has to do with just the fact that it's him.
That's true.
He puts out
especially after he made the Halloween movies, right? Nobody's going to like whatever he does, right?
Well, another thing too is that I'd even heard this. The reason why I was so shocked when I saw that trailer is the price tag I'd always heard on this movie was $40 million. That's what everybody kept saying was
Yep.
that Universal threw $40 million at him. And the joke started out, oh, we're going to hear Herman call Grandpa a cocksucker, and a motherfucker. That was the joke at first. And then they announced that it's PG. But so then that confuses everyone. But then when that trailer drops, so anyway, Rob had to make a statement earlier today. He felt the need to address all this stuff. And he said that, if you took my last 5 movies and combined the budget, you wouldn't even come close to 30 million, let alone I did not get 40 million for this project. So
yeah, I saw that.
I was expecting something that looks like the Addams Family film, I think, in terms of production values from the early 90s. And so the low scaleness of it, I after a minute, I was like, oh yeah, it's Rob Zombie. And then especially when I thought about 3 from Hell and 31, his last couple of films, anything post Lords of Salem after that has a maybe a more direct video feel a little bit, I don't know.
May be more his aesthetic now. I
mean, you just tell they're lower budgeted films that have been made, 31, especially. I thought you could kind of see some of the seams on that a little bit. They kind of just kept running around that one little hallway and trying to make it look longer with her.
Oh
yeah. Yeah. It was like even Rob talks about it in the commentary. It's like a closet, basically. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So,
how they. Yeah, 31 was bad, man. I don't know why I ever liked that movie. I don't know why I own it.
I gotta say, I like it anytime what's his face is on screen. Oh gosh, I just forgot his name.
I liked it when Malcolm McDowell was on screen.
Oh yeah, yeah. What's his name?
He's in Mandy. He's in 3 from Hell. He's in.
Yeah, I didn't know who you're talking about.
Bill Osbert or Bill Mosley?
No, the guy that replaced Sid Haig in 3 from Hell. Richard Brake.
Yeah.
Yes, every time he's on screen as Doomhead, it's awesome. But then there's large chunks of the movie where it's just them kind of hanging out, waiting on, and it gets a little tired after a while. But every time he was on screen, I was all about it. I thought he's great. I'll watch him do anything.
I was actually thinking about doing 31 on my show, next month or something. Yeah. If y'all want to join and review it,
I would love to. I'd love to because
I thought Halloween 2 would be.
I love his Halloween 2 though.
I don't know if that's necessarily cult and trash.
Yeah,
31 definitely is, but
31 too. Just the way that one was made, is much more lower key than dealing with Harvey Weinstein over your shoulder all the time.
And actually,
that's better in more ways than one.
Yeah.
This week, actually in 2 days, I'll be reviewing Mandy too.
Oh, dude,
you brought that up, but
I just watched the Joe Bob Briggs episode Sunday with my dad
of Mandy. He did the last drive-in, I think, last year. Yeah, he did, and it was a really good.
It was Mandy and Dead and Buried for the double feature.
Yeah, that was a good one. Mandy is so good.
It really is good, man.
Beyond the Black Rainbow, anything Panos does, I just wish Panos would make. I'm such a
It only has those 2 movies, right?
I know, and I just want more. I think he's doing something else right now. His dad is the guy that did Tombstone and Cobra. And I didn't even know that till recently.
Prolific,
yeah. I was like, okay, cool, man. I was like,
but if people watching this aren't aware, I'm on my show. Cold and Trash Horror Movie Grind on also on Infamous Horror, and so we'll be doing Mandy on my show, but that'll be it'll come out a month from now. I have a few lined up, and the trailer finally
so much about Mandy until I watched it. So, are we ready to watch the official trailer?
Yeah, we got it.
At least I hope that's it.
It's not me.
Just getting all the footage in we can right now.
Rob Zombie, the director of House of a Thousand Corpses, Halloween, and The Devil's Rejects, brings you the greatest love story ever told.
Oh, I don't like the sound of that.
Think of it. The brain of a super genius transplanted into the body of a perfect physical specimen.
I want a man that makes my blood run cold. A man that every time he enters my crypt, it's like a stake through my dead black heart.
I could whip the upper humpy down in the lamb.
Oh no. Remember what happened last time?
He was battered.
I'm gonna go.
Okay.
I'm looking for a vision. A queen. True love.
And what exactly do you want?
Is Herman Munster in there? I knew the moment I laid eyes on you that you were special. I understand if you don't feel the same. I'm just a regular gal living a boring, normal life.
If there's one thing I know, is that the rest of the world melted away as soon as you appeared in my life.
It seems Miss Lily is truly in love.
Oh, come on. You know and I know that we gotta get rid of that bozo Herman Munster.
Greetings from Transylvania. That's a strange way of saying hello.
Oh, I guess we're gonna have to get used to it.
Man, I don't know. That time was rough. That was rough. There were moments that I was embarrassed, that I was just like, man, that was pretty good. Okay, hold on a minute now.
Sherry, let's adjust the elephant in the room.
I love how they're like the director of A House of 1,000 Corpses now is directing The Munsters.
Okay, that is weird choice. I think that to me threw me off from the start because, okay, it is a PG kids film. Right. Someone should have said, Rob, you cannot say all these hardcore R-rated, whatever, quote unquote, hard R horror films before you introduce the Munster. You just say from Rob Zombie. You just everybody.
Kind of like how Eli Roth did A House.
Yeah, from this one movie that you kids should never watch, hopefully, and this other movie that you'll never see, and this third movie your parents will be mad about.
Kids, he also did Lords of Salem.
That's a good point.
I know, now because
that's a good point.
And it does look very cheap. Even it just looks like this was all. It just looks like me and my friends got together. I feel really shitty for saying this. I can't.
But give me 3 drinks of whiskey. I'm in.
I'm in. Oh my god! Now looking at it again, where I don't feel like the contrarian nature to just take the opposite of what everybody on the internet's saying. I gotta admit, it looks rough. Like some of it looks pretty rough. Like, but I get what they're going. I still think that a lot of it looks really cool, like the sets, the costumes, and stuff.
The lighting is
the lighting.
Cool.
The sound in this trailer is jacked up. Like, what's going on with the sound? Like, that's a big part of the problem here. Is the sound sounds fucking weird. You know what I mean? Like, it sounds like it was made for a laugh track, and maybe he should consider putting one in, because there were moments when it has like the episodic, just right out of the Munsters. It felt like somebody's coming out and reading a line, but it felt like I was seeing a dress rehearsal, because that laugh track may be needed if it's going to be this campy. If it's going to be just like an hour and a half long Rob Zombie doing his impersonation of 1964.
It's almost like 2.5 hours, I think, dude.
Then he's got to fucking put a laugh track in there, because there were these moments in the trailer where the line, especially when it's Sherry Moon, she says something, it just hangs
completely.
It just falls down dead. I mean, it's like
she was probably expecting the laugh track.
I mean, and is that a bad sign when you're saying, hey, you know what, your movie was improved just from the trailer? Is a laugh track.
Sir, is bad, right? Like, as an audience, we should know when to laugh, but this is almost like the running gag on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, when Dee always tries to say something funny and nobody ever laughs.
Yeah, it's that secondhand embarrassment feel. Like, it's like I felt bad for him. Like, I felt my buddy came over to like play me his new song that he wrote, and like he sits down and gets all ready, and then it's like, it's you can't tell him it sounds like
man,
ass.
I just recorded an EP. You want to take a listen?
Yeah. And you're like, oh, you want to be supportive, but then you remember it's like, dogs howling or something, just terrible. And so I just felt embarrassed, and like, I've been trying to turn it around in my head, but it does look like kind of objectively shitty. Like it's just, I mean, but at the same time,
I don't even know if that's really intentional or not on
the
Zombie.
black and white stuff with the way it's feeling. Like, why is it not just because what he's doing is okay. So apparently, the Munsters Go Home Blu-ray, which I've seen the show. I've got Peacock and I binged some of it recently, but the movies like the Munsters Go Home movie and stuff. I've never seen that. I have heard Rob Zombie go on and on Stern about like playing Munsters trivia and talking about what a super fan he was like 5-6 years ago. And he does the commentary for the Shout Factory Munsters Go Home Blu-ray. There's like an exclusive comment. That was a few years ago. So like, I get that he's a super fan, but like, man, you can be like too close to something.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, it's, oh man, it's like, what do you say right now? Sherry, I love that they work together. Like, it's really cool that he likes to work with his wife. I don't have any problem with that. There's been times when she's kind of been shit on that I thought it was unfair.
He's definitely going to get shit on for this, for sure. 100%.
I mean, I'm sure
these are beloved characters, man. People do not give a shit about like, oh, here's Jeff Daniel Phillips hanging out with Rob Zombie. You know what I mean? It's like there's just such a much of a chance for it to like really cements him in a bad taste, in a bad way, with a large number of people forever, worse than the Halloween thing did. Because I remember 2005 when The Devil's Rejects came out, it was like the critics were saying things like, we've got a young Tarantino on our hands here. 2 years later, by the time he does the Halloween remake, his very next film, he's like dead in the water as a filmmaker. He's a punchline all of a sudden, and so it's just like, I'm like the biggest Rob Zombie apologist I know, and I can't even I cannot. I don't know. I'm really,
and you know what I am too, especially after he did Lords of Salem. And
see, I love Lords of Salem. That's the last thing
I do too. That's what I'm saying. Like, after he did Lords of Salem, like it's like
I like his early stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Nothing's ever going to come close to me. I mean, I saw to be honest, I saw House and 1,000 Corpses like 4 times in the movie theater, and I could see. Like, I was 18 when that came out, so it was just like perfect time.
Yeah,
we just kept going. We just kept going, it was like whatever, dude. But Devil's Rejects, even I didn't like that as much, and I got that people were like, well, it's better filmmaking, sure, okay, but like I just thought I wanted more Dr. Satan, I wanted more weird, I wanted more White Zombie feeling kind of stuff like this. Don't we all? It's like, yeah, but oh man. But yeah, okay. So, and that's another thing too. He does okay. So you had a list of things you wanted us to hit. So I just started rambling on, of course. But what else was on that list?
What do we think the critical response to this is going to be? Because I don't think it's going to be good at all.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I think the Razzies are going to have a film day with this.
I think the audience is going to be even worse. Like, I think that the audience, I think it's going to be one of those times when you'll probably get like a 38% critic review and like just a 21%. Like, just like,
I don't even think it's going to be that high, dude.
Really? See, I want to see it, but no, I do think it's got a disaster written all over it. I think that
it may be around the 7% on Rotten Tomatoes.
You really think it'll get that low?
You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah, it's right here, coming in hot off the press. 7%. Is that audience or critic?
Critics.
Oh, okay. So our audience is going to save it with double digits, or
with the 15%.
The teens. Oh God, I hate this.
It's more than time.
Yeah. Oh man. On paper, it does seem like one of those things that just makes sense in my head. And knowing that he also owns the car and all this stuff, but it's like, it's like I like to play with my toys.
You can be too much of a fanboy at one point.
Yeah. It's like nobody ever gave me millions of dollars to play with the toys I already like to play with, and I get that that's kind of a dickish thing to say, but I wouldn't be saying it if the trailer didn't worry me like that so much. Like, I've been looking forward to this movie, and I mean, I've been waiting for the day I can see footage of it.
Yeah, but everybody seemed to, when it was announced, everybody seemed to have kind of high hopes for it. Like,
I kind of thought, well, a project that he can do that, cool.
The funny thing is, though, every time Rob Zombie comes out with a movie, majority of people are like, oh, this should be cool. And then they're just like devastated
when they see footage
and surprised that they didn't like it every time.
Every
like,
single time.
It's kind of like the
like, I
Notebook.
didn't
thing,
like
what
House of
do
a
you
Thousand
want?
Corpses, but maybe Halloween would be cool. Well, nah, I didn't like
Nah, I
Halloween.
didn't like it.
Maybe Halloween 2 will be
Maybe
cool.
he
Nah.
fixes it.
Maybe,
He just doubles down.
I mean, like he has his cult fan base. Like 3 of us
Yeah.
like some
Oh,
of
yeah.
his movies, I guess. you
Right.
could say,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
but yeah. And the funny thing is that like people always like give him benefit of the doubt. I know people who are like, I hate every
Yep.
Rob Zombie movie,
Yeah.
but I'm gonna see the Munsters, and then this
I know.
comes.
And I guess that's why
One more time, guys.
Yeah, I guess
It's
that's
not
why
like me. Like I learned my mistake from giving Michael Bay so many chances. Okay.
Yeah.
You gave him multiple chances.
Yeah, come on. Nobody moves people on the internet like to talk. And there's these certain filmmakers like Zack Snyder can't take a piss without the internet exploding in 5 different directions.
Yeah, that's true.
And I feel like Zombies the same way. And so a lot of times it's like, well, I guess that's why these guys sell tickets is because people will pay out of morbid curiosity. But I don't, this being on Netflix and then you've got people that are fans that will buy the Blu-ray. I think that in the end that will save this movie financially, actually. Because like you said, Rob Zombie is like that kind of like Kiss idea of merchandising, Rob Zombie the flamethrower, that kind of Spaceballs merchandising bit where it's everything just strap like whatever, a white zombie on it, slap a white zombie logo on it or whatever, Rob Zombie logo. And I think that so the people that are going to buy the Blu-ray, they've probably already pre-ordered it, a lot of them, and are going to buy it before, who gives a shit if it's good, bad before they've even seen any of it.
Right, because a lot of them are like completists who, if they like Rob Zombie a lot, they're going to get every format that they can of his work.
And everybody else, it's on Netflix. And if you watch like 2 minutes of something on Netflix, that means that you watched it. I think it's counted as a watched film. So I think that's the best thing for this movie from everything we've seen. Like, you put this movie out in theaters, I just think
It's not going to make
disaster.
anything.
Yeah. Like, unless you're doing like Clerks 3, where it's like a Fathom event, where it's the same kind of thing. It's like, well, the hardcore people are coming and everybody else is going to watch it on streaming. But no, the Blu-ray is smarter, the smartest way to go. And they probably will announce some like 1 night only or 3 night only.
I'm sure they will, because Fathom events and Zombie
have
been friends for a long time.
I still want my 3 from Hell money back, to be perfectly frank about all that. Like, I did not like 3 from Hell, and I went out to a Fathom event for that, and I thought it sucked. Like, my eyes glazed over like 20 minutes into that movie, and I just.
I mean, maybe I have a soft spot for that one because I got to interview Bill Moseley for that.
I'll see.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bill Moseley is badass.
You can't beat with Bill Moseley, though. I mean, I'd accept Bill Moseley for the worst film I'd ever seen, to be an honor.
I feel like he kind of phoned that one and then threw.
At this point, he kind of can, right? You just kind of show up and like put the wig on. And
because like Sid Haig was dying during it, so like he was probably like, man, this sucks.
I bet that couldn't have been fun, man. Oh, I heard that Rob Zombie Halloween shoot was like the most miserable experience of everyone involved's lives. Even Rob talked about that, like just how miserable the back and forth was with the Weinsteins every day. Like it was like a daily thing of just like, okay, we've got rewrites, we've got new pages for you. No, we're doing, they were like notorious micromanagers, and they gave him it was like as soon as the check was written for him to make Halloween, they started fucking being like, oh man, what have we done? Kind of, it was like started getting scared immediately. Maybe they should have been. I don't, that movie too. I remember not liking that first one at all. I've never even really had a desire to watch it again. I like Halloween 2. I actually thought that, but I think I like that Halloween 2 movie just because it's got like a cool, groovy, like weird band and a Halloween party and like a Wolfman, like all this like really basic,
it's kind of like the black
shit.
sheep of the family, like
and it's fucking ridiculous, But I honestly, man, I love Halloween. Don't get me wrong, I love Halloween 3, but this franchise as a whole, I think the sequels are pretty lacking all the way around. So that is when people start to get kind of indignant about the Rob Zombie ones. I am kind of like, well, yeah, but did you see Halloween Kills, or have you ever seen like Halloween 5 or like Resurrection? Like, it's not like these movies, So, but I do think Rob Zombie's just one of those guys. It's like I just wouldn't want him with like an established IP like this, and it's kind of like now that I'm thinking now, I always thought the Munsters would be perfect, but now that we've been seeing this tiny bit of like teaser footage, automatically I'm thinking back to Halloween. And and I'm like, okay, so is this just like in some way or another? Is this like, because Halloween, it seemed to be the problem was he wanted to deconstruct it and make it like about Michael as kind of like the anti-hero or whatever. And which kind of to me is like just you're fundamentally just not understanding it. It's just like, and so with this, it seems like, are we about to see another just like, it's like Rob Zombie grossly misunderstanding the Munsters' appeal. What made him, what made people like him in the first place. So, and maybe the Wednesday Tim Burton will prove to be better.
He got the set down.
The set, it looks great. I want to see. I really think that they should reach. He's not going to, but the black and white, it would look cooler. And where it's a prequel.
Yeah, he loves the like crazy lights too much.
Yeah, that psychedelic
yeah.
And people,
which I love too. Like I'm all about it.
I'm not gonna yell at that at all. I'm sure I'd sit there and just look at the pretty colors, the eye candy, and be totally fine. I mean, I saw that Speed Racer movie in the theater, and I still have no regrets over that. That was like the most eye candy. The Wachowski Speed Racer was
it's so self-indulgent, but it's so fun.
They made a 2.5-hour children's movie for stoners, which obviously did not work.
No, really, dude. Like you can watch that movie, get high on the visuals, and have Taco Bell right next to you, and you can be good.
It was wild. I'm telling you, it was really cool to see in the theater. Like I never even wanted to watch it again, because it's not good. It's absurd, but like it's eye candy galore. If you're just going for pretty pictures and sounds, it's like like me, I'm like a 9-year-old.
I mean, why we go to the movies half the time to begin with?
And I am the type of person, like, it's so sensory with me. Like I love seeing, like I've seen Rob a few times in concert. Like I always have a blast at his shows. Like you just give me some spooky, like Frankenstein masks and some robot guys dancing around and some zombies and some fire. And I'm happy. Like that is like as American as apple pie to me. Like, that's where I want to be. But that
is as American as Homelander is.
Sure. Yeah, exactly. And but this is really hard to just blindly be like, oh no, this is gonna be great. Because it just looks so shitty.
I don't know if you can even say this looks good at all, instead of like it can be so bad it's good.
Yeah, that's
I don't even know.
If it is, then I'll cover it on my show.
Yeah. You should already clear out a spot for it,
Yeah.
Put it on the schedule down the line. Because I mean, but and it's weird too. It's like it's really strange to me that Rob Zombie chooses to work with these same people over and over again, right? Because a lot of them they're not really that memorable of performers, like I like some of these people when they pop up in some of their roles, sometimes it's cool or whatever, but poor Jeff Daniel Phillips, like trying to put his own spin on the Herman Munster and all this stuff. And it's like,
I was watching that, I couldn't help but think Jeffrey Tambor should be doing this.
Yeah, but he's not. He's done. You can't hire Jeffrey. I guess Rob could hire him. Well, not for Universal, but he was kicked off his own show.
Oh yeah, that is right.
Behavior on set.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
But I just think that people like Daniel Roebuck and Jeffrey Dean Phillips, like, and I thought I was going to come here and talk this movie up, and I'm just like, these fucking specific actors are dog shit. No, I'm just okay. It's just when I see them in these iconic, and I'm definitely going to give my money over my time to see the movie more than once. But I did think that, especially like we were saying when we started off with Sherry Moon, just that the weight of that kind of role is not really working with her. Like, and it's not, she's fine as Baby. And I actually took up for her in Lords of Salem and was kind of impressed with her being a little bit more nuanced in that, and not just kind of being like, I'm crazy, I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah, she had dreadlocks.
Yeah, she did. She did. Dreadlocks and a drug problem.
But yeah, this shit.
Yeah,
like, her voice was like nails on a chalkboard. Like,
yeah,
I was just, when she started talking in that trailer, I was like, oh.
Did you guys see the Brian Fuller thing that didn't get picked up that they ran as a TV movie, like Mockingbird Lane with Jerry O'Connell and that from like 8 years ago?
No.
That was the last Munsters property. Brian Hannibal Fuller, before he made Hannibal, he made a Munsters pilot called Mockingbird Lane with Jerry O'Connell, and I can't remember who else is in it. Look it up. But they ended up airing it as a TV movie, and if it would have been popular or well received, it was a backdoor pilot. And he had high hopes for it. It didn't, but you can get. I don't know if you can rent it, but you can definitely find it on YouTube. It was like 2013. It wasn't that long ago. But that was the last time anybody tried the Munsters, and people didn't like that. And that was supposed to be more like, oh, it's a modern 2013 Munsters, from what I understand. So that sounds equally unappealing in its own way to me. So maybe the lesson is starting to be maybe just.
Let these IPs die.
Let these IPs stay where they are, and maybe, Rob Zombie can keep making weird or keep making mixtures of the Funhouse and Texas Chainsaw 2, just like over and over. That's always felt like his movies kind of felt like to me. It was just like these two Toby Hooper movies Rob Zombie really, really likes.
Yeah, right.
Which I do too. It's still, but gosh. Now I'm worried. Now I feel like the sky's falling on the Munsters.
Now Steve's agreeing with me. He thinks it may be a 7% on Rotten Tomatoes.
It's going to be a bad day. I can't imagine that. I understand trailers or whatever, but I can't. It's still the footage that's being used. I mean, I still got to look at it.
So like, here's the thing. It's probably going to be bad, and a lot of people, everybody. Basically 100% of the people who watched it are like, oh, that looks rough. Yeah. But the thing is that it's a PG movie. And
right, yeah.
The thing about PG movies is that they all suck.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm a hard sell on a PG. I'm with you. I'm a hard sell on a PG.
I enjoyed E.Y. Moth's House with the Clock in Its Walls.
Oh, actually, I did too. I'm not saying there's no PG movies that I enjoy, but I do get what Ian's saying that like
it's a kids movie.
Sell. Yeah, I'm a hard sell on PG anytime. I'm like, oh, it's PG.
Like maybe kids will enjoy it.
Sure, I'm hoping so. I really hope so. Yeah. I hope that it finds an audience like that. I'm hoping that kids that are tuned into like my girlfriend's son at the time was like 11 when Hubie Halloween came out. And that Adam Sandler one, and he loved it because I think it was like shot around Salem and all the exteriors just look like Halloween, and it's all Halloweeny and shit. So I'm hoping that maybe that kind of audience would like something like that, or like
probably. It's like when Robert Rodriguez he started doing kids movies because he was known for
Kids was awesome
for like hard R movies.
Yeah,
like
Desperado.
Yeah, Desperado.
And, Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah, Dusk Till Dawn, and then he started doing Spy Kids and the Lava Girl or Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
Yeah,
and it's like just because like he had kids himself, and he was like, I want to make movies for my kids.
I hear that a lot.
And then when they got old enough, he started making hard R movies again, like Sin City and stuff.
Exactly.
So it's probably kind of the same thing with Rob Zombie. Like I don't know why he decided to do this.
But
if
he wants to make a kids movie, why make it 2.5 hours long
then? Yeah, I don't think this is 2.5 hours long. I'm guessing this is going to be like 90 minutes, right? I'm guessing surely this will be like.
I didn't know it was that long.
I think that's like what it's.
Oh no, it is like 2.5 hours long.
Yeah, it's like 140 minutes or so.
Yeah, it's almost like 3 hours long.
That sounds horrible.
That sounds so crazy. Is it still that long? Did he not get pressured into cutting that down? Come on.
Or what if like it was originally a 5 hour? What if it's like Dune, where he had to take out like 3 hours out on the cut?
Oh no, it's like the Snyder cut. Oh my god, Jesus. Oh man. Okay, well, I'm trying to think of. Okay, so just people know what it is. Actually, it is actually a prequel that will backdoor into continuity with the series.
Yeah, because we see that like he's meeting. Or like they're meeting each other.
Yes.
And the grandfather guy is like, oh, I gotta find some scheme to get him.
It almost looks like Herman's not Herman, but Grandpa's like the villain almost, which is kind of a weird choice. I feel like because that's not necessarily the dynamic in the show, but I guess Rob's like, well, he hasn't won him over yet because he's Herman's. I did notice Richard Brake that we were talking about is the Frankenstein kind of scientist guy that's going to build.
Is he?
Yeah, he's the guy that builds Herman. I saw.
Yeah, that's like Rob Zombie's new guy.
Yeah, I'm down with that. I like seeing Richard Brake in anything. I'm like that Leo gif or whatever. I'm like, he was in the Mandalorian, and I did that saying I was like, oh.
But yeah, it really seems like a kid movie there, where like you have the grandpa guy who's just like scheming to just get Herbert just to fuck off somewhere.
It's weird that Universal did sign a deal with Netflix for this instead of Peacock.
Yeah, he says, his statement today says that it was never intended for anything but Netflix, that the Netflix Monsters movie was put in place before he was hired as director. So he said that he heard that rumor that it was going to be on Peacock and it got shuffled around and all that. Not true. He said it was never intended for anything but Netflix. So he put a statement out today saying that. So, I mean, I'm taking his word. He seemed a little pissed off at everybody kind of just saying stuff like, oh, it cost $40 million and look at this. And he was like, okay. And so when he said that, I don't know why I ever let the internet tell me this movie cost $40 million to begin with. That's an insane amount of money for much. I was
I think it was like a prominent website that started that.
I know, because he said like he said if you take my past 5 movies, the budgets combined don't come to $30 million. Yeah. So, okay. All right. And then I felt kind of dumb. I was like, oh yeah, that makes way more sense. How would it make a profit? It would have to. But after marketing, if it cost that much, it would have to be like $100 million fucking PG rated 2.5-hour Monsters film.
and also, like Rob Zombie,
that is Nick Cage's moment on this show.
like we've been saying this whole time, Rob Zombie is a very controversial director. Like some people hate his movies, some people hate half of his movies, and then they're like, "Let's give this guy 40."
And you're going to see this all the time, I guarantee you. I couldn't even get past the first 10 minutes.
Yeah. Gosh. Well, he can always tour. He can always just keep touring and keep making. But kudos the money that way, because it's just like, well, I hear about some of these guys like one of the things in movies today is you see like the mid-budget filmmaker kind of squeezed out. Like that's why I think you don't see like David Lynch or John Waters making movies much anymore. And John Waters said specifically, he was like, they won't give me the money that I want. He said, I'm 67 years old. I can't sleep in a fucking Motel 6 for 4 weeks. He was like, I can't do it.
That would kill his back. Dude.
So is Rob going to transition to this phase where it's, you know what I mean? Where it's like studios are just going to stop giving him money if this bombs or whatever.
Almost on his last leg.
I don't think he's ever particularly made anybody a lot of money in film, but I know next thing I know, he'll be retweeting this video and be like, actually, I made the fucking studios a fuck ton of money.
If he does, I'm going to be like, okay, Ray Fisher, go ahead and treat this.
I know, right? Be like, okay, sorry, buddy. But sorry. But I've wanted to root for it, and that's why it hurts me to say that it sucks, because I don't want it to suck. Like, I am always a Rob Zombie fan. Some of his movies, like, I genuinely love, and I have like a deep love for like Los Exorcisto, like White Zombie Records, and just his aesthetic. It just I grew up with it, so I appreciate him and I want it to do well, but it just, it worries me. I'm a worried fan that way. Yeah.
Well, guys,
bookmark it there and we'll see what happens.
Are y'all going to review this when it comes out?
For sure. Sure. I'll probably write about it on Creepy Lovely too, which I do want to plug myself. CreepyLovely.com is back up. I have some articles out there now. There's a Black Phone piece there, some other stuff coming. It's been like 2 years since I'd written anything, so hopefully keep that more continuously now. So creepylovely.com, shameless plug. Thank you for your time. Thank
you. Ian, you got anything else you want to plug or add?
Just my show, Cold and Trash Horror Movie Grind on Infamous Horror. So
yes.
Yeah, you can find it right here on this channel.
You just have a little sticker.
I already forgot the movies that I did that are coming out, but yeah, check those out.
Check those out and check out the show.
Yeah.
Spend much time on Infamous Horror. Just browse around. There's a lot to go through. I ran across an interview with the head of Rue Morgue magazine the other day that I bookmarked to watch on Infamous Horror. I didn't even know existed. So it was lots of stuff.
Yeah, actually, if you want to see more like Rob Zombie stuff, I did review the House of Thousand Corpses, Devil's Rejects, Through from Hell in one episode with the girls from Let's Scream podcast. Ali and Mode, they came on my show and
awesome
did that together, and that was a fun episode.
I'm going to go get that ready for work in the morning. Actually, thank you.
I'm going to listen to that one too.
Awesome. Well, this was fun.
Guys.
Dude, thanks for having me.
It was awesome, Ian. Definitely.
We should do this more next time. Trailer pops up. It's fun.
Yeah. I think we're talking about making that its own show, like a trailer review thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, for sure. I'm always down.
Well, this has been Reviews from Hell, guys. So enjoy your night.
You too. See you guys.